I'm Bruce Marshall. This is the Brampton Now update for the week ending the December 12th, 13th weekend 2020. Your concise summary of everything important that has happened in Brampton the previous week and what's coming up. What the Toronto outlets don't have time to tell you about where you live here in Brampton. Coming up, Peel's chief medico with a word of caution. Budget deliberations at City Hall make taxpayers smile, and the mayor talks about those who are doing the heavy lifting in this crisis. Brampton Essential Workers. Details on that and more coming up in this Brampton Now update. Here's what's happening this week in Brampton. As our neighbors in York Region and folks down in Windsor get ready to lock down again, the man with the cold, hard facts based on science, Peel's Chief Medical Officer of Health, had this to say this week.
I'm deeply concerned about the continuing and increasing hospitalizations and severity that we are seeing in our community. And while our precautions held this off for some time, we are now sadly seeing COVID-19 outbreaks return to long-term care settings in our community. And while there's excitement about a viable vaccine, I'm equally concerned about the growing apathy and anger towards the measures designed to bring COVID-19 back under control.
While Mayor Brown has praise for the feds and the province on what he's seen of the vaccine rollout plans, he yet had criticism for other levels of government in not providing paid sick days as a matter of public health policy for provincially and federally regulated workers.
There are tools that could help us slow the spread. Dr. Lowe and myself have been outspoken about the need for paid sick days. I find it infuriating that here we are so far into the pandemic and that we still have workers going to work with symptoms because they can't afford to miss a paycheck, because they have to put food on the table, because they have to pay their rent. Paid sick days is a critical tool we need for our vulnerable essential workers.
Speaking of those workers who still go out to work, we have many in a corner of the city. Mayor Brown talked about his fight for an isolation center in that area of town.
I'm also continuing my push for an isolation center in the northeast of Brampton. I want to make sure that if someone's in a crowded living condition, that they have a safe option, a voluntary safe option to make sure they can isolate away from their family, to limit household spread. And there are a lot of people who simply can't afford a 14-day hotel stay.
In a moment, one of our testing sites is moving, and Dr. Lawrence Lowe on how we should handle Christmas. Up next on the Brampton Now Update.
This is your invitation to go beyond sightseeing, to engage in our traditions. Come experience something new, yet centuries old, and give in to your sense of adventure. Experience our country's history and heritage. Discover your authentic Indigenous experience at indigenous-tourism.ca.
This is the Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall. One of our testing sites in Brampton is moving. Mayor Brown with those details.
With winter quickly approaching, Osler's testing center is moving indoors, so the testing locations are changing. Today, the drive-through testing center at South Fletcher's will close at 7 p.m. and will reopen indoors at Peel Memorial Centre for Integrated Health and Wellness tomorrow. Thursday, December 10th, testing hours will be 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, so it will no longer be at South Fletcher's.
Dr. Lawrence Lowe was asked at the weekly press conference whether we should expect any let-up in precautions before Christmas. Lowe noted that the stats haven't started going in the right direction even.
Either way, I think the advice is going to be the same for the holiday season, and you've heard it from the Premier loud and clear. To the extent possible, you want to make sure that you are limiting your close contacts and celebrations to the people you already live with. And hopefully, if we do that right, if we keep numbers down, then when the vaccine arrives, it'll be easier for us to get back down to ground. And then hopefully this will be the only COVID Christmas we have to deal with.
In a moment, the budget came down at Brampton City Hall this week. Good news there coming up on the Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall. This is the Brampton Now Update. Under strict rules, the City of Brampton has opened 4 outdoor skating surfaces by appointment only and for an hour at a time. Locations are Gore Meadows, 𝗕𝗄𝗎 Park, Gage Park, and Mount Pleasant Park. Go to brampton.ca for information. The Brampton City budget was finalized this week. Taxes will not increase, 0% for the 3rd year in a row. The Downtown Riverwalk project will see funding, as will expanded maintenance facilities for an expanding Brampton transit service and $250,000 to the wildly successful backyard garden program that will be back in 2021. Although Ward 3-4 City Councillor Jeff Bowman has some concerns about where the dollars and cents will land. Much of the budget, of course, is produced on presumptions and assumptions, and Bowman told Graham Frisk of the Brampton Guardian that he has concerns that huge costs could show up and the taxpayer will have to shoulder those costs sometime over the coming year. The City of Brampton has announced that Brampton hip-hop artist 𝗕𝗿𝗺 and Juno-nominated Canadian indie rock band Tokyo Police Club will perform live from the Rose Brampton main stage on New Year's Eve. The virtual New Year's Eve will be live-streamed at brampton.ca/New Year's Eve. There will be no in-person performances this year. In a moment, what's ahead in Brampton this weekend and the coming week, plus ahead my Marshall rant on the Brampton Now Update.
This is a pivotal moment in our fight against COVID-19. What we do next will determine how quickly and how well we recover. Our economy is recovering, and as we resume activities, we must remember the core 4 activities that will be important steps on our road to recovery. We're asking you to commit to these 4 things. Stay apart. Maintain a safe 2-meter physical distance from people that are not within your social circle. Mask up. Wear a non-medical mask where physical distancing is difficult. Lather up. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or hand sanitizer. Get tested. Get tested if you have symptoms consistent with COVID-19 or are worried that you may have been exposed to someone who does. These 4 core steps are the fastest path to overcoming COVID-19. They will protect you, protect others, and bring back our thriving communities. Show your commitment to the core 4 by sharing the symbol on social media, posting in your workplace, or in your front window at home.
You're watching Brampton Now Update. I'm Bruce Marshall. This weekend and ahead in Brampton, Boys and Girls Club of Peel are soliciting donations for the Christmas Hamper program. Go to bgcpeel.org for info on how you can help. The Downtown Brampton BIA urges you to shop and dine locally. They have delivery service for the downtown businesses, and Santa joins them on Instagram at Downtown Brampton. Visit them at downtownbramptonbia.com. The Journey Neighborhood Center, with 2 Brampton program locations, opened a thrift store in downtown Brampton. Journey Thrift is on Nelson Street near the YMCA. They are, of course, closed during the Grey Shutdown. Brampton Music Theatre continues a fundraising contest called Catch the Ace. It's at bmtcatchtheace.ca. BMT also continues online training, programming, and concerts on their website at bramptonmusictheatre.com or like them on Facebook. The city's plow tracker is now live. The service was started last year so residents could track when the plow will be on their street. Details at brampton.ca/snow. Coming up, the Marshall Rant. A few thoughts on the city budget. Next on the Brampton Now Update.
Is going to a party really worth it? Putting yourself at risk puts everyone at risk. Help limit the spread of COVID-19.
I'm Bruce Marshall, and this is the Marshall Rant. I'm a bit concerned. City Council has come back with a budget for 2021, and they're promising the 3rd year of 0 increases. That's good news, isn't it? Well, on the face of it, it is. There's also a lot about this budget that could, maybe should, concern your average municipal taxpayer. Let's be honest. The city's budget was blown up in 2020. Revenue they expected didn't come. There were extra costs. But all that said, Brampton weathered the 2020 storm rather well from a financial aspect. But it's all that upheaval that is a concern. The assumptions that have been plugged into this budget are about the same as those plugged into the 2020 budget that got blown to smithereens. What do we do if that happens again? There are revenue assumptions in that budget that may not, probably will not, come true. And while this budget does put money into some important Brampton projects, we've always got to be aware that municipalities only get 12 cents of every tax dollar. That's region and city, 6 cents each. So when municipalities have big projects like our Riverwalk or transit expansion or the revamped LRT, it's essential that other levels of government participate. And that's one of the big assumptions that has been made here, that other levels of government will come forward with the money that they promised. This is where the taxpayer is going to have to pay attention, because if politicians at other levels of government don't want to support Brampton, we should be well aware of that. So if you don't know who your provincial or federal members of parliament are, 2021 is the year to find that out. To find out what they've done for Brampton lately and what they're going to be doing again for Brampton. At the end of the day, all our politicians work for us, and the tax dollars come from the same taxpayer. Let's be sure in this coming year of uncertainty that those who are not here for Brampton are acknowledged for that. What do you think? Leave your comments below or get back to me. I'm Bruce Marshall, and that's it for this week. Please subscribe to the Brampton Now Update channel on YouTube or follow #MarshallMinute on Facebook for lots of Brampton need to know that you won't find anywhere else. Your comments and suggestions are always welcome, and if you've got a Brampton story to tell, get in touch with me through the channel you're watching on right now. Stay strong, Brampton. Brampton strong. We're all in this together. I'm Bruce Marshall. Thanks for watching Brampton Now Update.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.